Well, show you what we got going on today. Built this rod rack that holds my fly rods up here on the truck. You can see swing down there to the other end, similar one down there. It's got some bungee cord that holds it in there, snaps into place. These fit onto a rack or rail system that's inside of the bed of the truck. But today we're going to show you how we build it. All right, guys, let's talk about the hardware we used to put this together. This stuff, all of this came off Amazon, and I did it for less than $100, right about $100. I won't say less than, but right about $100 for all the parts to do this. First, this is a piece of aluminum bar stock. It's 25 millimeter square, or roughly 1 inch square by 12 inches long. This one here is a 1 by 2 by 4 solid piece of aluminum bar stock. I got 2 of those. This is just a 1/4 inch strap. This is a 2.5 wide by 1/4 inch by 12 inches. I got a couple of those. This rod rack here, this is just again, Amazon, just look for rod racks. There's a myriad of options there. This is the one that I think work best for what I'm doing. But there's sure to be an option that'll work for you if you're looking for something different. I found these little hook and eye hardware on there. This was the smallest I could find with machine threads. These are an M4 thread on here, but those are the smallest I could find with machine threads. The rest had like a wood screw type thing. These knobs, these are an M6 knob by about an inch and a quarter. I don't remember the measurement off that, but it's an M6 just T-knob. Tons of options there. And then this little bit of hardware here, this is the key to making this whole system work on the truck. So this is aluminum extrusion connector hardware. If you get on Amazon or on the internet anywhere and search for aluminum extrusion, it will give you a ton of options. Now there's 3 main sizes. There's the 20, 30, and 40 series sizes of aluminum extrusion. This is 40 series hardware. Happens to match the size on the truck just perfectly. One other thing I found out in doing some research and searching around for this is those rails on the truck, they're a roof rack standard. I didn't know that existed, but roof rack uses about 20 millimeter hardware as well. So those are 2 options for you when you're searching for hardware to make something work like this for you. Search for roof rack hardware or aluminum extrusion hardware, and for me the size 40 or the 40 series was the right size. Then we got some various other just nuts and bolts, all stainless. Everything's either stainless or aluminum on this, so it'll be okay for the weather outside. But we got all the parts here, so we're going to go out. There's going to be a lot of time at the drill press today, so we're going to go drill, tap holes, cut this up. I'll bring you guys along for that. But probably going to be a lot of time lapse today, because I don't know if you want to sit there and watch me drill and tap holes all day. But we'll go get started on this and bring you along. All right, step 1 in doing this, just went over to the chop saw. And I don't know if you know this, but you can use your standard wood tools when working with aluminum. Just go a little slow, be a little careful. Don't try to feed it too fast. But so I just went over my chop saw, chopped that down, that block down to 2 5-inch pieces. Now I know I want my hole we're going to drill our clearance or our through holes for our wing nut bolt. So I know I want those a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to take my calipers here and I'm just going to set that to a 1/2 inch. Scribe a line. Make sure we didn't move just a touch. Tighten it down this time. Scribe a line on there. Now I know this is about 1 inch wide, so I'm going to take my caliper here and set it at just under 1/4 inch. And then I'm going to scribe, not 1/4 inch, just under 1/2 inch. Should have left it where it was at. Forgot what I was doing momentarily. So I'm setting it just under 1/2 inch now, just adjusted it a little bit. And I'm scribing on there. And the reason you do this is so you can go for both sides and you get a line that's scribed on there that's off. They're not right on top of each other. There's a little gap there, and that way you can find the center and punch it in there real easy. So I just marked that about a 1/2 inch and scribe the line, spin it around, scribe the line. And I got 2 lines right there that are right close to each other. There's some striations on this that make it hard to see, but there's 2 lines right close to each other there. Now, to mark that, we're just going to take our center punch, We'll find our scribe marks, set our ratcheting center punch on there, and hammer a center punch hole. I'll do this the other direction here. Line it up on our one scribe line and split the difference between the other two, and ratchet a center point in there. Now we got that set up, I'm just going to use a simple little fence here on the drill press. Just get that set with the point of the drill. Tighten down my clamps, and now that's going to hit right on my point, so I'll use that mark to do everything. I'm going to mark this one out real quick with my 1/2 inch mark in from the end. I don't need to mark center anymore because I've got that set. Okay, so I got everything marked out. Now we're just going to drill our holes. There we go, 2 blocks drilled. Now I'm going to go grab my countersink bit and just chamfer the edge of those holes, get rid of the burrs that are on it. Okay, you can see we didn't actually countersink those holes. I just used that countersink bit to just take the edge off of them so they're not don't have any sharp burrs on there. But that's those two are ready. I am going to go over, pick a top side, and just go knock this corner off on my little disc sander over there. Take those corners off a little bit so it rounds over and it'll sit on the truck like that. So let me go do that, and we'll come back. All right, come back over to show you this. I just went over there. I don't know if you guys can see it very well, but I just rounded these top corners a little bit to get rid of the edge. And then on my little belt sander, I've got a really high grit. I think I got a 400 grit on there right now. Just went over all the corners and edges and just knocked off any sharp, anything I could feel with my fingers that felt sharp at all. I just buffed it out a little bit on that 400 grit. So that's step one. All right, now we got these guys done, or the first part of these done. Now we need to get this block on here like this. So what that's going to entail is drilling a couple through holes through the blocks, or through the base pieces, a couple blind holes up into the block, tap the block, and then we'll countersink the bottom so that our bolt will sit flush with the bottom of this. So it's going to take a little bit of drill press work, but we'll do that. And the same thing, we'll do the top so that we can bolt our piece of flat bar down on top of this. So that's the next step. Got to get these holes laid out and do some more drilling. All right, kind of went through the same process of scratching and mark and hitting it with my center punch to get some marks here. These holes are going to be 1.25 inches wide. That gives me 3/8 from the end. These are going to have a 13/64, I believe, is the pilot drill for a 1/4 tap. So we'll drill these blocks on both ends with a 13/64 tap, or 13/64 drill. Then we'll tap them. And then on these guys, I just drilled another set of holes. These are also 1.25 inches apart, centered on here. We'll drill these with a 5/16 bit so that we got a little bit of extra clearance for our 1/4 inch bolts, one little wiggle room. And then on the back side, which is this side, we'll take our countersink bit again, countersink down in there far enough that our heads will fit. And let's get these drilled, and then we'll do the countersinking. All right, we got our bolt. That's what we're looking at right now. I need to countersink these so that they will fit through the hole, or fit flush here. So countersink bit in there, and we're going to seat them flush. So see on that one, just below flush. It's not sticking out. This is a short screw. This is for putting the plate on, but same screw is just longer to bolt this to our riser. So that's all I'm doing, is just getting them sit flush so that this can then sit this way on the rail of the truck. All right, we're reloaded with our 13/64 bit here. That's our bit size for 1/4 tap. So I got this set up. I'm using a clamp now to give me something to kind of hold on to and help grip this. There isn't really a good way to drill into the end, but this is how we're going to do it. Give me something I can kind of brace my arm against. And these are going to be stopped holes, so I know that I got to go about almost to the end of my threads on this to give me enough depth on that. So probably don't have to go that deep, but I'm going to use that as my stop. Back with our blocks. They've all been drilled and tapped. 8 holes tapped and tapped deep. What I wouldn't have given for a power tap at that point, but they're done. I had to take a little break because I was getting frustrated with it, but they're done. Both those blocks drilled and tapped. Now we're going to work on our I don't know, plates, mounting plates for the rod rack here. I went out to the truck and did a little bit of measuring and test fitting. This is what I came up with. Cut about 3 inches or so off of my length here. I'm going to end up, it's going to be, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's going to overlap the block about like that. So that this hole is just in front of my riser, and then the other side's going to hang off of this side just a little bit. So kind of that. Then we left enough room there on the end to put our eyelets to hold our stretch cable for our hold downs. So now what we got to do is get this set where we want it. Mark our holes, our 4 holes on each of these plates. Drill those out, and then we'll drill holes on either end for our hooks. And then final thing will be to drill the 2 holes here that mount up with our block, so that our block can mount on there about like that. So that's the next step. And then I know I wanted to come in a 1/4 inch off of the end to mark these, and then I'll just center those, but I'll mark that 1/4 inch off the end for each of my hooks. And I'll center those up side to side. Then when we get down to actual critical measurements for our mounting holes for the riser block, we'll do a lot more accurate setup. But for this, that's good. I grabbed a bit, and now it's just drill bit time again. Now with the holes all drilled, I'm just going to swap over to my countersink bed again and just clean up the, just give them a little touch on there to clean up the burrs and make it a nice little chamfer on those holes. Okay, there you go, just some simple little chamfer on there, cleans up the burrs and makes them nice. And let's make sure little stainless mounting bolts fit just fine with a little bit of play. And our little screw eye, perfect. So next step, I need to mark nice and precise on here the 2 bolts that go down into the top into the riser. Well, it figures I forgot to hit record, but same thing here, just countersunk so that my bolt would fit through there and fit flush like that. It's just below flush on all those, and then on the back side just chamfer the back a little bit to get rid of the burr. So we are, I believe we are finally all drilled and tapped and ready to go start assembling. All right, you guys don't know this, but this is 3rd time's the charm. Started putting this together and wasn't tapped deep enough, so I had to go grab my tap and re-tap the holes. So this is a 3rd time the charm of assembling this, but we're going to start assembling and put a little blue Loctite. I'm using blue Loctite on any of the blind holes because I don't have a lock nut on them. And because of the design here, I've got to put this plate on first because these holes will be covered up by the rod holder now. So I got to get these in place first, then we'll put the rod holder on. Okay, got those snug down nice and tight. Now we need to do the rod holder. It's going to sit on here like this. And you can see that's why I covered those up. That's why we had to do those first. So we'll get that put on there. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put my hooks on first because I want a little more access to put those on. Because they've got lock nuts that I've got to tighten all the way up on there. So we'll do hooks next. Okay, with those on there, and you can see, obvious problem here. I'm going to get the cut off wheel and cut off all this extra length on this hardware. Don't have any choice. Kind of have to live with what you can find. And they're too long, so just have to do it that way. Alright, that fits in there just perfect. Just like I planned it that way. I'm going to use a washer on these because I did oversize these holes a little bit. Just to make assembly a little easier. And didn't use a washer on top because those bolt heads fit down in that recess too nice. Didn't want to mess that up, so I stuck a washer on there initially and it just didn't work very good. Okay, getting closer. That's starting to look like it was envisioned to look. So last step is going to be putting on our base, and got to make sure it's the right way with our recesses, countersinks up. And same deal here, we're going to Loctite these because they are blind holes and they don't have a lock nut on the back. So, and just using blue Loctite, nothing serious, just enough to keep them from backing out due to vibration. And I'm tightening these just as tight as I can get them. I'm not worried about stripping them with a screwdriver, so getting them good and tight so they'll stay there. And there you go. That's how it's going to sit on the rail of the truck. So one done. I'll assemble the other one. Won't make you come along with that one, but off to the next one. All right, give you a shot of last little bit here. I tried to film this, but working with this small cord just didn't film very good, so you'll just get the aftermath. But for a pull tab here, I kind of fancied it up a little bit with some knot work with some small twine I've got, and just to give myself a little bit of a handle here. This is overboard for what you need to do, but I'm kind of a knot nerd and wanted to do a little bit something a little bit different. You could just tie an overhand knot here and it would be just fine, but this gives me a little bit of a handle to pull that cord off there. So next step, go install it on the truck, and I'll give you a final view of what it looks like. All right, guys, we finally got a sunny day to come out here and show you what this is. So this is in the bed of the truck. You can see this nice rail system that comes on these Rams with the power box in there. I don't know what else they come on, but I know it works on my truck. And we got our little connectors here. Just going to slide those in place in the rail there. You can see they fit perfectly. We're going to take our rod rack, put it up on here. Start a knob in there, and a knob in there. Now it's mounted. Put it up in there. You can see how it's going to sit in there. All right, guys, there you go. Rack rigged up here on the truck with the rod sitting in it, so you can see what it looks like. Works out perfect. Actually got to go use it the other day and had this rod in it. This is my switch rod. It's got a nice long handle on it, and kind of didn't like that I had to move this particular one clear up here to hold the rod. So I made a little modification. I cut some of the foam out here in this rear one so that it's actually the handle that fits down in there. You can see it just pops out like it did before with the rod in there, but now it's the handle that fits down in there. Fits nice and snug, goes down the road just fine. I was able to run down the road at 75 miles an hour with this rod in it rigged up. Worked beautifully going down the highway, so couldn't be more happy with how this turned out. I can get 3 rods in here when I want. I've got somebody fishing with me, or I often have 2 or 3 rods rigged up at any given time when I'm out fishing and moving spots. So thrilled with how this turned out. Hopefully it's something you guys can find useful, and hope you enjoyed that one. We'll catch you on the next one.